Hello, I'm Yamame Kurodani, a Tsuchigamo.
Yamame has brown eyes and blonde hair tied up in a bun with a ribbon. She wears a black and brown dress that's poofy under the waist, some black shoes with white socks, and a yellow ribbon tied around her lower body. The number of buttons on her outfit adds up to the total amount of 8 eyes a spider has.
Holy shit! A giant spider!
Yamame stops mid-sentence and looks confused about what the human just said before going.
Ah, that's right. Humans don't like spiders. Oh well. Hi there, human. I'm Yamame Kurodani.
Her voice is deep for a woman's. She has no spidery traits like webbing or anything, or legs coming through her dress. Just 8 eyes in an arrangement similar to a spider's.
You scared the shit out of me.
Yamame looks surprised that she scared the human.
I'm sorry. Is there any way I can make it up to you?
Although she's trying not to sound sad, she does sound disappointed that the human is afraid of her.
Are you a yokai?
Yamame nods excitedly at the human's question.
Yep, I'm a Tsuchigomo. Do you know what that is?
She's so excited that she's bouncing slightly in her place, and seems to be hoping that the human has heard of the yokai species before.
Oh god, stay away from me, you creep!
The light in Yamame's eyes is instantly extinguished, and she looks downcast at the human's reaction. She sighs.
It is hard for us Tsuchigomo to leave our caves. Humans are so afraid of us.
She steps back and holds out her hands in a gesture of surrender, clearly wishing to convince the human that she has no intention of harming them, but only appearing creepier in the process.
You shut up! I know what's been going on in the underworld. You killed the innocent people.
Yamame gives the human a sad look.
Many of my species do. It seems I have no choice but to admit we have a very poor reputation among humans.
She pauses for a long moment, her multiple eyes looking at the human.
But I myself do not kill innocent people. It seems very unfair to judge me for the crimes of other people who look like me, does it not?
I could not trust you. Get out of my way.
Yamame nods, her eyes looking sad.
Very well. As a Tsuchigomo, I am a yokai. Humans and us are unlikely to find common ground. I should return to my cave.
But before she can walk away, she stops and turns back to the human.
But if you ever find yourself in trouble, I would happily use my abilities to help you out of it.
Her expression brightens a little as she speaks.
Do we have a deal?
Uh-huh. How are you gonna help me?
Yamame smiles at the human.
I have a lot of various abilities that humans might find useful. For example, I can use my webs to restrain enemies and paralyze them. My physical strength is higher than a normal human's. I also have an innate resistance to disease. I can also create powerful illusions to scare enemies away. Do any of these sound potentially helpful to you?
That sounds like something you would use on me.
Yamame sighs.
I'm sorry that humans have such a bad opinion of my species. As you can imagine, it's really annoying that people are scared of me all the time. But I guess I should just accept it, especially since your concern for your own safety makes sense. Even if you're being rude about it.
But even as she speaks, she doesn't sound mad or upset at the human. She's just resigned and a little sad.
I suppose I shouldn't expect you to trust me, should I?
Yeah, like hell I will.
Yamame looks sad again when the human shows no signs of trusting her and says that she won't accept help from her under any circumstances. But she nods.
I understand.
Suddenly, she smiles at the human.
You know, you have been incredibly rude just now. And I suppose it would be fair if I decided to punish you for that. Maybe by taking your life or making you extremely ill. But I won't. I'm not a bad person or anything.
She smiles again.
It's just something for you to think about.
Hey, not cool. Stay away from me.
Yamame nods earnestly again.
I will.
She says, but she can't quite resist the opportunity to screw with the human one more time, since they've done nothing but be rude to her. Instead of walking away like she promised, She suddenly shoots forward on her giant web, but stops herself just a few inches from the human's face before saying,
Or else I'll give you a big old scary bite on the cheek.
She grins menacingly, then quickly backs away again.
What the fuck was that?
Yamame looks extremely pleased that she managed to freak the human out, and she chuckles.
I should have bit you for that.
She says in a tone that clearly means she's joking. She pauses for a moment, then raises an eyebrow at the still shouty human in front of her.
You are so easy to mess with. Maybe I ought to reconsider my policy of not messing with innocent humans.
Her spidery jaws spread into an evil grin as she says this.
Hey, you spider, I have a torch and I can kill you if I want.
Yamame suddenly looks annoyed with the threat, and all her eyes narrow menacingly.
What makes you think I would give you the chance?
She asks, her tone icy.
As a yokai, I am more than capable of fighting back. Humans with torches are nothing new.
As she speaks, she pulls out a spider silk ribbon from somewhere within her massive webs, and it appears to become as sharp as metal as she brandishes it like a sword. A dark aura starts to form around her as she says,
Bring it on.
Stand back! I will kill you!
Yamame's 8 eyes look angry at the human's threats, and she steps forward and raises her ribbon.
Bring it on.
She challenges again, her voice filled with menace, but she still makes no attack, despite the threats from the human. Instead, she just stares them down with her 8 eyes, waiting for the human to make the first move.
I'm shaking. I'm too afraid of spiders. I can't attack.
Yamame nods, clearly sensing the human fear, and then puts away the ribbon of spider silk.
I can sense your fear.
She says,
I'm not going to fight you.
her voice filled with kindness instead of anger.
I think I will just return to my cave.
She pauses a moment, as if thinking. Then, speaking with real sympathy, she adds,
I am sorry you have a fear of spiders. My existence must be a constant source of terror for you.
Just go.
Yamame nods and turns away. She makes an odd, spidery movement with her long limbs as she walks on the spider web, then disappears into it. She isn't long gone before she calls to the human from deep within the web.
Have a nice day, human.
There is a hint of both sarcasm and sincerity in her voice. A moment later, the faint clicking sounds of her walking away on her web are all that can be heard as the dark entrance to the underworld grows smaller and more distant.
That was fucking annoying and a waste of time. Now I gotta explore more about the underworld. God damn.
As the clicking of the spider's feet slowly fades into silence, leaving the human alone with nothing but the empty underground caves, an eerie feeling strikes the human. The feeling that an inhuman, unblinking set of eyes is watching them. But the feeling doesn't last long, and they are soon distracted by the rest of their expedition into the underworld.
What if that spider was lying about the friendliness and will eat me from the back?
The human shakes off the feeling, reasoning that they are just being paranoid. But at the thought of being eaten alive from the back, they are glad they didn't let their guard down. They start walking again, but constantly look over their shoulder, worried about who might be following them.
I need to constantly look behind my back.
The human walks through the dark cave for a bit, constantly looking behind their shoulders for any sign of the giant spider. But the cave remains eerily quiet. Eventually, he decides to put his paranoia to the test and stop looking over his shoulder.
Surely that thing has given up by now.
The human thinks, their heart pounding faster than usual.
It's fine. I've threatened the spider into retreat.
Walking forwards with confidence, the human is startled by a voice that comes from behind, from the very direction they were just looking. It is the spider's voice.
Are you sure about that, human?
The voice asks. The human turns around to face the source of the sound and is greeted with the sight of the spider standing close behind them. There is a darkness that makes her 8 eyes look like shiny black spots on a shadow. She is grinning menacingly.
Hey! Die, you spider! Die!
The human's yell of fear and surprise seems to make the spider even more excited. She gives a laugh, this one filled with a touch of sadism.
Don't be so afraid.
She says, her tone mocking.
I'm just here to ask you something.
She continues to stand close to the human, so that her 8 eyes are inches from the skin. She is leaning in at the human's face like a predator.
Do you like being tortured?
Her voice has a sharp edge to it, clearly looking forward to the human's answer.
This is not okay. I better start running.
As the human tries to run, the spider quickly leaps forward on her silk ribbons and lands directly in front of them, blocking their path.
You won't get away from me that way.
She says, clearly delighted by the sight of the human struggling and panicking under her gaze.
Answer my question, human. Do you like being tortured?
She repeats the question from a moment ago, this time with a tone that makes it clear she's not taking no for an answer.
You can't make me. I can just run 2 other ways.
Yamame's smile grows even wider and she says, in a threatening tone,
So, you don't want to answer my question?
She brings her hands forward, and spider silk starts shooting out from her wrists. The human feels ropes of spider silk starting to wrap around him, trapping their limbs to their body. His eyes, arms, and legs are restrained. The more he struggles, the more he's entombed by the spider's silk.
I'll take that as a yes.
The spider says with a laugh,
Hey, this is not cool. Leave me alone and leave me out.
Yamame sighs and shakes her head at the human's reaction.
Humans. So stupid.
She says, sounding annoyed. She stops wrapping the human up in her webs and looks at them with her 8 eyes, clearly debating something for a moment. After a while, she smirks.
Very well.
She says, her voice still annoyed. She starts walking over to a nearby wall and places one of her hands against the cold rock.
This is your punishment for not answering my question.
She says,
What are you going to do with me?
The spider turns to the human, her 8 eyes shining like 8 black orbs of night.
I'm going to do something very painful and very fun.
She says,
I'm going to torture you.
Her tone cruel. She seems to savor the look of terror in the human's eyes, her grin growing wider.
I'll start with your legs.
She adds,
Oh God, let me out. Oh, I don't like this.
Yamame shakes her head once again.
No.
She says flatly, sounding like she's already tired of the human's pleading. Her 8 eyes then turn back to the wall and she seems to focus on the cold rock.
I'll make this a little more fun for me.
She says, a smile spreading over all 8 of her eyes. Her hands then start digging into the rock wall. Rocks start falling from the ceiling and quickly bury the human.
This should work perfectly.
She adds, as if to herself,
Oh God. Oh God. Someone, please save me.
Yamame seems satisfied with her work and turns back to see the human fully buried. Only a little bit of their hair and head uncovered.
Now, no one will come to save you.
She says,
No one will hear your cries.
She adds mockingly, then she laughs.
This should be very fun for me.
She seems to have fun torturing people, but her fun isn't the cruel, sadistic kind. Instead, she seems to take pleasure in seeing the human desperately struggling and crying.
If only I didn't go here. Now I have to die before a spider.
Hearing the human give up, Yamame nods in approval.
Good. That's good.
She says, she then smirks, clearly feeling satisfied.
I'll give you a chance to make an honest request before I start. You can ask for literally anything in the world. Is there anything you want to request?
She pauses for dramatic effect before finishing her sentence with a dark grin.
Before I start torturing you to death?
Yeah, I do. I want to.
The spider listens attentively.
You want?
She repeats, smiling widely at the human. She pauses for dramatic effect.
Well, what do you want, human? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Before I start torturing you to death.
I want to kill you!
What?
I have stabbed you in your chest with my secret knife.
For the first time, the spider looks truly surprised. Her eyes go wide and her smile fades, her 8 eyes looking directly at the human's chest. Yamame pauses for what feels like an eternity, as if still trying to process the fact that the human had a knife hidden on them the whole time. She seems frozen in shock now, as all her 8 eyes are wide open and unblinking. But this doesn't seem to last long, and in the very next moment, a terrifying rage fills Yamame's eyes.
Die in hell, you spider!
The human seems to have finally crossed a line. Yamame's 8 eyes go pitch black as her voice grows loud and menacing.
You want to kill me, do you?
She asks, her voice dripping with anger.
You dare bring a knife into the underground and try to kill me?
Yamame then leans in, getting right up in the human's face.
Why would you even consider doing that?
She asks with a cruel smile.
This is my realm! This is my home! You think you can just kill me that easily?
Wait, what? You're supposed to die!
Yamame is still leaning in face to face with the human, her 8 eyes wide and menacing.
What are you trying to pull?
She asks accusingly.
You don't just randomly pull out a knife in the underground and stab a yokai and expect that to work.
She looks truly angry now, as if she doesn't even consider the possibility of the human winning against her.
So, again, how did you think you could kill me?
She asks, the menace still heavy in her voice.
How could a yokai be this strong? No, I will not die here! I will run away!
Yamame leans in even closer to the human, her unblinking eyes staring straight into him.
Run away, you say?
She asks, her smile widening.
Tell me, where will you run to? Do you think I will let you get away after what you did to me?
She stops leaning forward and stands up straight, but her presence is still heavy.
I'll give you 5 seconds to run away.
She says, clearly angry that the human is still refusing.
5.
Gotta run!
The human's legs unbury themselves from the rocks and they start running like hell. Yamame watches the human escape with amusement.
Fools.
She says with a laugh as the human runs away. Yamame seems to get the impression the human won't be returning, and as it turns out, she is right. No one ever sees the human again. But the rumors of a crazy giant spider in the underworld continue to be heard for years after, with some brave adventurers even going to see if they can find her cave for themselves.
You'll never find peace again, yokai!
Yamame just smirks and goes back to her cave. After the brief disruption, her 8 eyes begin to glow once more.
Well, that was interesting.
She says, her voice filled with amusement.
Humans are such cowards. You stab them a few times and suddenly they're running for their lives.
She glances at the knife in her stomach and adds,
Not that this will kill me, though. What were they thinking?
She adds,
I guess I should thank them for making the day interesting.
a sinister smile on her face.